It is Friday, the 6th of September in 2024, and this is things you might not have heard. And boy, do I have some news for you today. Now, today is a bit of a melancholy is the word. It's there's, because we've got news and we got big news and some not so big news. Of course, Chiefs won last night, the opener of NFL football last night, things like that. But we have a nice smattering of news for you today, featuring things with Allan Lichtman, yeah, that guy, Caitlin Clark, and Idris Elba, which we have to give props for, which I'm a bit conflicted about. But we have that. We 8 total news stories to give you in the queue for today, and we'll explain how the queue of stories gets to be a queue in a bit. But right now, I want to remind you that our website is thisistheconversationproject.com, which hopefully actually works right now. They did some tweaking on the domain before I go on the air. So you can get there and see some backdrops, all things we have going on there. Plus, you can email us anytime you have the feeling to at our inbox, conversation inbox, the conversation inbox at gmail.com. So as we said already, it is Friday, September the 6th. It's a mixed bag of news, and the big story, we'll get to it, but we want to get past, the 10-minute mark so we don't get any explicit ratings, and I basically have to work myself into some of these things because I've got a couple rants going on. But some of the things that, let's say, realm in the world of crazy, or conspiracy, if you will, is starting off with the story you have, that first one spot. Story number 1. Is some new stuff that many people who are history buffs and people who are just sort of way into the JFK assassination stuff have been into today, and would have been probably a bigger story, except for other things happening within the weekend yesterday. Newly emerged JFK assassination video shows motorcade rushing president to hospital after he is shot. A newly surfaced video from the incident is out there showing the motorcade speeding off to the hospital as the Secret Service and police try to save the life or preserve the life of President John F. Kennedy when he was shot in Texas. The footage provides a rare close look at the chaotic aftermath of what officials raced to do to save the life of the president. The video added another layer to details of the infamous event that took place in Dallas in 1963. If you've not seen the video, find an article on this one and click the link here where you can see the clip of it. It's a different angle. It's an interesting look. And for people who are really into the conspiracy of what happened, it probably won't change your mind. But for people who are looking for more details and more insight of the actual history, it will give you some insight and some things, how things were working in the workings between the actual shooting and arriving at the hospital and, of course, the eventual death of the president. We're bringing up Allan Lichtman because he and the next story are simpatico. They're combined in some way, and we're going to extend to get some, basically sneak in about 10 news stories into the next 2 stories. Let's start with Lichtman. Lichtman has revealed his 2024 presidential election prediction. Oddly enough, the robot editor could not quite figure out what it is because it's hard to do. When he popped up in my scene in kind of the eyeballs of things happening a few months ago, basically with this prediction thing, he's someone I'd never heard of because I've been following politics essentially all my life in a sense, but like I said, I wanted to run for president when I was 6 because I thought Reagan was evil, and that's my frame of reference. This guy is really deeply embedded into the world of politics, and he's one of those fringe things that people either know about or don't know about. And with the chaos of the last couple of elections, he's been there. Now, he's picked every election since 80 something. He's picked like 14 straight elections with the winner since 84. The one he missed was Al Gore, which people can sort of maybe see because many people believe that Al Gore actually won that election. He has this formula that's 11 keys that you turn the keys the right way. That means the incumbent party will win the election. Right now, he says the incumbent party will win, and that means Kamala Harris, who's in the incumbent party, will win the election. Right now, his keys are a little off. So with 11 keys, he basically has 8 keys turning for the Democrats. There's 2 keys that aren't quite there yet, and a lot of these things have changed because 6-7 weeks ago, it was Joe Biden, and things were still going towards the Democrat side, but they were more or less close. They were neck and neck. Now, so far, it's a landslide with some more keys to turn and a lot of ground made by Mr. Trump to make up that happening. So Allan Lichtman, who's picked all the presidents except for one since 1984, says it's going to be a Kamala Harris win, says his keys. Now, people have issues with his keys, so you can do that. One person who doesn't seem to have issues with his keys is Vladimir Putin, who ironically says he would love to see a President Harris regime happening. Regime is my word, not so much his word, but I think you get the point here. The headline for story number 3, Grinning Vladimir Putin suggests support for Kamala Harris as U.S. accuses Russia of election interference. See, it's a really big story. So this gets even bigger. A story we don't have posted in here, but we're going to use this to sneak it in here, is yesterday or day before, a few days back, the Justice Department came out and indicted a bunch of people from Russia, RT people who were doing propaganda stuff, and shut down some propaganda farms here in the States. One really big one, which was managed by a woman who lives in Tennessee, but I believe she's actually Canadian, which is actually propping up YouTubers and YouTube channels and YouTube and online folks who talk a lot of trash on the right-wing circuit, folks like Tim Pool, those type of guys. And we had, I don't know if it was something I watched or something that we talked about. There was a thing for Tim Pool that talked about just how Tim Pool was terrible. I believe it was something on Summer News. And it talked about, the fact that he bought this, he lived next door to this skate park, this property, and didn't like people next to him. So he bought the property, built the skate park, did a bunch of jerky things with a bunch of money that he came into. Apparently the money he came into came from this trolling farm for this Russian group of folks who had this website and this YouTube page that basically just copied information and copied content from other right-wing people and paid them crazy amounts of money. So crazy that when we talked to people who went on their shows and did their stuff, they were just talking about all the money that what they're just putting up for just regular podcast stuff. These are people who should not have this sort of exposure, who had just crazy amount of money and just exposure going on there. And the bad part is they weren't really good at what they were doing. Number one, the influencers who were pushing their own stuff and not working towards the Russian agenda. And number two, the Russian agenda stuff just wasn't really good stuff. Now, how does it circle back? As the U.S. is claiming that the Russians are doing interference, which they probably are, Vladimir Putin is kind of clapping his hands and smiling, saying, you know what? Yeah, well, I guess so. If it's going to happen, we'd love to see Kamala Harris as a president. To which Donald Trump says, see? The Russians want Comrade Kamala to be the president. And technically, they kind of like Donald Trump because he's lenient on Russia, because otherwise this sounds like a flip-flop, how he's hard on Russia when he says he loves them and lets them do stuff. Although he just said that he would turn around, he would stop the Ukraine war tomorrow. I'm not sure how that's going to work out. Next story, not a stretch, but this is one that may take some understanding on how we got these stories in today. When we get to the big story, and you'll know when it's there, you'll see kind of why we want to push things down. But this is a story. This is a bigger story than you probably think it is, because we put this in as a late edition, and the response to this one made this one of the top tiered stories for the day yesterday, because he's a guy that people like. I can't pick him out of a lineup. I don't know his music, but I know who he is, and I have an idea what's going on. And we're mourning the life of Rich Homie Quan, who's a rapper out of Atlanta, who died yesterday at the age of 33. Original or his given name, his government name, if you will, DeContes Devontae Lamar, died at Atlanta Hospital. The Fulton County Medical Examiner confirmed, happening yesterday. And the Associated Press actually confirmed this as well, despite the fact that ChatGPT does not believe there's actual credible evidence on this one. There's a whole lot of articles that says he passed away yesterday, so we're going to go with that one. No cause of death was given at the time. We'll get an autopsy scheduled for today. We'll see what happens today to see what happened. It's basically a sudden death. We're mourning loss, and a lot of folks out of Atlanta, a lot of music fans, rap fans, are missing at this time the life and the presence of Rich Homie Quan. So that first half of the show was a little rocky. So sometimes it is. It's been a long week, a lot of things going on, and the news coming up in the next half is a bit disturbing. We're going to say disturbing. Not so much, some of it is terrible, but disturbing. So we ask you to take leniency on the presentation for the day and just remember sort of our overall body of work. Like the things you're seeing. If you don't like today's stuff, like things in the future that are good that you want people to see. We need social proof that what we're doing. If you actually like the news stories, because we do our best to be supplemental and do lots of different news. So this is a kind of an open-ended sort of newscast today. It's not as focused as it could be. At least the first half has been. So like things that you see, so no more people see the social proof that it is fairly good. Share it directly with other folks. That's social proof as well. If you share it with someone, they'll probably watch it. They'll assume you actually enjoy it, and you won't give them something that is terrible, because today may not be the best presentation. The problem is the news is kind of terrible. And subscribe. If someone shared this with you or you stumbled upon it because of the algorithms and you like it and you might want to share it later, subscribe so you get more of it. We are all over the place. Go to our website and find out the wheres, but YouTube and Facebook and X and Threads and things like that. Subscribe to our feed, subscribe to our content so you get more of it, and just comment with us. Go back and forth with us there. Back to the news. Back to New York City. Back to Eric Adams. FBI raids homes of two of top deputies of New York City Mayor Adams. New York Police Department Commissioner subpoenaed. Just like we said, raids of two homes of high-ranking deputies for the city mayor, Eric Adams, as part of an ongoing investigation into stuff. Let's just say stuff. Adams, who actually is not so shy about having larger aspirations in politics and the world's figures, becomes an issue when there's all these investigations that would lead you to believe that he's not all that great. This is not just saying he's not that great of a mayor, or not all that great of a as his role as a city councilman or as a police officer in the past, but just not that great of a person, or at least in the ways of doing things on the up and up. We used to see how this thing plays out. Also being subpoenaed in this issue is the commissioner of the New York Police Department, because they got questions. They want to be answered. The ongoing investigations, and it is with an S, because there are plenty of investigations around Eric Adams, makes this something of a normal thing for him. But it's not the way politics and politicians should be working. And this is not a case, from my perspective here in Arkansas, of, just politicians out there using the power to pester people and do whatever. Something apparently is wrong in the Adams realm, and so someone's trying to root it out. Maybe it's overkill, maybe it's not, but it seems like something's not exactly right, and we're going to give him the benefit of the doubt and just say that maybe something just a little off and not so much criminal. We will see. Now, we put this story at number 6. We want to put lots of time between the start and the finish. So we're at 12 minutes into the video. So we want to make sure we're past 10-minute mark for a couple stories, because we didn't want explicit ratings. We want to kind of get whatever. And we got some scumbags in the next couple of hits. Here's the headline. Here's the write-up. And then I'm going to do a very quick commentary, because there really isn't much to be said about this one. We should be honoring the lives of the people who were lost in this incident, not dealing with the idiocy of the family that is in charge of this. And I said that out loud. Father of Georgia school shooting suspect arrested on charges including second-degree murder. We'll get to him in a minute. From the write-up, this is actually straight from the article from the Los Angeles news station NBC, because the robot editor could not figure this one out, so I had to kind of pull it myself. Colin Gray, the 34-year-old father and alleged shooter Colt Gray, was charged with 4 counts of involuntary manslaughter, 2 counts of second-degree murder, and 8 counts of cruelty to children. From the Georgia Bureau of Investigation said, this coming from Director Chris Hosey. He said in a news conference yesterday, the second-degree murder means in Georgia that the cause of death of another person while committing a second-degree cruelty to children. But second-degree murder is in there because that person caused death while dealing with the cruelty there. It's really complicated in this issue what he gets charged in. Regardless of the intent that was there, someone died in the cruelty of the children. It's punishable by 10 to 30 years in prison. And the malice, it can be involved to push that one to a felony murder, which would carry a minimum sentence of life if it goes to felony murder. Involuntary manslaughter means that someone unintentionally caused the death of another person. There's a lot of things that rolled in here. We know that the son is charged with 4 counts of murder, and the father is charged with many other counts because he's responsible. What we learned yesterday was the gun, the rifle used to carry out this act, was bought by the father as a holiday gift recently. So while the original year-long interview said, we keep our guns locked up, he doesn't have access to it, he may not have had direct access to this one, but this is literally the kid's gun bought for him. And there's so many tricks and turns and just deep details that are just so terrible about this incident, and in a sense, this family, that we can't go into it in the 2-3 minutes we do to do stories. So click the link for this story, search for other stories. This will be big news for a few days as they peel back the onions on this story, just get into what's happening. And we are mourning the loss of innocence in one sense, and the lives directly from this incident from 2 days ago. Now, let's get to this guy. Hulk Hogan actually recently signed another contract with the WWE, so he has a job. He's getting paid. He's going to do some promo work. He'll probably show up at a PLE, Premium Live event. I think he was a part of the deal that had all the WWE folks at Fanletics, so as it was basically a big convention, and that was a part of him being promoted there. Unfortunately, we're promoting a terrible person. You may, ate your vitamins and did your commandments as a child, but the gloss of the Hulkster back then is turning to be a real villain, not just a fake NWO villain, and just being a terrible guy. Here's the headline. Here's the write-up. And we're going to move on from this one because Hulk Hogan is the worst. Hulk Hogan suggests that fans should forgive his racism and scandals like that because they did the same for Chris Benoit's crimes. Hulk Hogan recently made a controversial statement suggesting that fans should forgive his racism and all the scandals around those the same way they have forgiven Chris Benoit and the crimes he committed. Now, Benoit, if you don't know, is a professional wrestler who committed double murder-suicide in 2007, one of the most heinous and insane things you can imagine, and he believes that people have forgiven him, being Chris Benoit. They have not. Hogan's comparison sparked outrage as many felt it was inappropriate to liken his scandal to Benoit's tragic and violent actions. Hogan has faced backlash since 2015 after leaked tape revealed him making racist remarks. When you drop N-bombs about your daughter's black boyfriend, then that probably means you're actually a racist, which goes back to other things that probably show that you're actually a racist. And when you put these things on camera and you have weird sex tapes and you hang out with Bubba the Love Sponge, sometimes people show you who they are. And as Maya Angelou said often, you should probably believe them when they show you. Our final story for this morning, fingers are crossed and people are going to be looking to the sky about 6 o'clock Eastern, 5 o'clock my time, as the Boeing Starliner spacecraft will attempt to return to Earth without the crew on Friday, which is today. This morning is Friday, so this evening, about 6 p.m. Eastern time, the Boeing Starliner spacecraft will be undocked. They're scheduled to basically open the clamps and send it back to Earth. And it should take about 6 hours to get back to Earth. So after about midnight or so, it should be landing in White Sands, I think, where it should be safe. Now, we will find out whether all systems are great when it shows up on land, i.e., does it actually come in one piece? And will all the systems be functioning when it comes down? Which means in the future, we don't have to worry about stranding our space people, our astronauts in space using the Boeing system. Remember, the astronauts that are stranded will be coming down in February using a rival system with rival suit issues that aren't really compatible. We'll see how that works out. The 3-week tour is turning to an 8-month tour, and that's not exactly how it should go, especially when you're stuck up in space with no change of underwear. We've mentioned that many, many times because it seems like the punchline that should hit, but it's a thing. So all eyes will be literally up to the skies or on your TVs in the skies as they watch and follow along with this ordeal, because that's all you can say. It has been an ordeal. While today's headlines and going through them may have been an ordeal, maybe going forward for the weekend and into Monday we'll have a better shot. Now, here's our headline and our teaser for the day. And maybe, just maybe, Flavor Flav did do the job. Red Lobster is cleared to exit Chapter 11 bankruptcy. This headline was a story that was posted late-ish yesterday, and we can talk about it when it gets posted in our feed. You can engage in it and tell me if we're talking about this one on Monday. Now, today is Friday. This story has to get a lot of engagement because it has to last the entire weekend. We're going to take 30 stories from over 90 stories in the weekend and consider those and get 10 of them into the headlines for on Monday. How do you do this? Go to our feeds on Facebook, X, and Threads. When you see a story, engage in it. How you work is usually on X and on Threads. You hit there's a heart. So all you can do is basically like it, but you can also share it and engage in it with comments. On Facebook, you have a bevy of emoji faces, a bevy of emotions to put towards it, and you click the one you like, plus sharing it and commenting and things like that. The more engagement a story gets, higher chance we have to talk about a story in our next iteration. The story we teased from yesterday, which we almost put in there, but the Rich Homie Quan story essentially outweighed everything out there, so we had to put it in there, was the fact that Chipotle and Spirit Halloween have a team up. They have a collab where they're having costumes, which are onesies, bodysuits that look like Chipotle wrappers. I was suspicious that it wouldn't make it. It actually was in consideration, but like I said, Rich Homie Quan sort of beat this one out there. But we'll Red Lobster getting out of Chapter 11. We'll go deeper into that story. And that does not mean your local Red Lobster is not going to close. Our local Red Lobster is still going to close, but the company is coming out of Chapter 11 and will have to be reorganized and hopefully operate in the black and not in the red for a while. We'll chat this up. If you go to our feeds on Facebook, X, and Threads, tell us the story is worth talking about, and we'll talk about it. Yesterday, I had a chance to try to sit in for a author talk and a book signing yesterday. Unfortunately, the phone rang literally every 10 minutes. So in the 50 minutes that she spoke, every 10 minutes I had to leave and deal with an issue on a phone call. So I didn't get the love and joy of that one. But I bought 2 of her books. I took a moment to make sure we got to record it. We put stuff on social media. We did this stuff to her to promote that author, and she's appreciative, as most are. I myself am an author. I was not writing something as deep and detailed and entertaining as she was, at least in this book here we're promoting. This one is about sales. It is sort of entertaining, but it really is a guide for you to be better at something. And my overarching theme of life is to work on personal development and be better. My business sense is not so much make more money, which is part of it, but be a better business person to make more money and enrich your life. This book will help you be a better person. Now, it specifically helps you be a better salesperson, but if you're not trying to make commission sales, selling yourself, selling your ideas, selling concepts to other people is something you must do as a human on this planet. And so if you're not really getting the best job of convincing people of things you want to convince them of, try this book. It has 21 specific response questions to counter very common sales objections. Or in your case, if you're not a salesperson, just general objections on why things are going on. What's the point of this? Can I get it better someplace else? Why are you the person to do this for us? Things like that. There are common objections to people selling things, widgets and time and whatnot, that regular people deal with as well. So consider it. You may not think you're in need of a business book, but think of this as not so much a business book, but just a getting better book. It just happens to be working with a premise that focuses on business things. Conquer sales objections, conquers sales objectives. No book signing set for the moment, but you can find this book on Amazon and other bookstores online. I know it has been posted to Barnes & Noble already, so you can find it there. In the paperback form, it is $10. In the Kindle electronic form, Kindle's the only electronic form that's valid right now, not the other ones. It is $5, and you can find it in independent bookstores. If you see one, snap a picture, put it on social media, tell me where it is. We can give a shout out to the independent bookstore out there. Quick shout out and quick response going on to the Conversation Project. I want to thank everybody for being a part of the project. I'm going to take this time here and go a little long here instead of the end. We will honor our partners at the end, so we'll go to that as well. But I'll take a quick moment to thank the folks who have responded very positively to us getting monetized. I'm finding it's taking a long time to figure out what's popping in there, but we did all the buttons for the YouTube, so we have people buying some merch. That is great. We have people who are sending in super chats and super thanks. That is great. We have people who are just saying, hey, congratulations. That is great. And we're seeing more varied's not the word, a new batches of people who are seeing our stuff, because I believe now that we have monetization on ourselves, YouTube has more of a reason to show our videos, because if someone watches it and they get to an ad, we all get money. So thank you. We're seeing a new rash of people coming in and lots of new comments and things being spoken. So we appreciate that. We appreciate the conversation. I definitely appreciate the chats that we had, both in email and on the video we had with the clip yesterday of Barron Trump going to college on Wednesday and basically saying, we ain't got no problems with Barron Trump. We just want him to go to school and have a great whatever and be whatever, and he can turn out to be whatever he wants to. We just want to be left alone while he's in college. And that's the general response we got from folks. Many people, when we do those things like, hey, don't pick on we have never picked on Barron Trump. Barron Trump is very tall. That is true. Barron Trump's parents are Melania and Donald. Those also true. His siblings are those other folks. Those are true things. We can't take that away. He likes soccer over basketball. It is his choice. We want the best for Barron Trump. He can be the savior for us all. It's wide open. But the response, the conversation, the actual chatter we had back and forth, very civil, very nice. Thank you very much for that one. We will talk more about the partners at the end of the show, so we'll talk about being a partner. But go to our website. This is the Conversation Project. We've had issues with the links not working, so yes, I think we're going to get that fixed. And find out more about us, find out more about where we are, how we are, and of course, everything else in between. If you don't want to go there, you can go to some other places. Facebook and X and Threads. Find us on Facebook, X, and Threads, and you can see us. And every 50 minutes, we'll put out new stories for you to engage in so that you can tell us which of these stories to talk about. You can also email us. The conversation inbox at gmail.com. Email us with any of your comments, concerns, thoughts. I feel like it. I'm sorry about that. But most of all, if you made it this far, that means you're either really want to see who's got a birthday today, or you're brand new and want to see what happens next. I want to thank everybody who's here and just thank you for being good stewards of the news, good people. Some of you may not be such the best stewards, but we're okay with that as well. Thank you for just engaging in conversations, sometimes mean, sometimes not so mean. Sometimes it's a misunderstanding between both of us, and it's just, a difference of opinions. We want differences of opinions. We need your engagement. We need more of that. So follow us in the feeds. Email me what you want to talk about, and we'll make it work continuously. And now that we have YouTube monetization, the pennies are rolling in. So hopefully we have more backup to back us up, which means less asking for money. But we will ask you to be a partner at the end of the show again. So we rambled a bit. We did some business. We'll do more business at the end, and we did the news stories. Although it was a bit of a slog, we got you 8 stories from yesterday to talk about today. That's in our mission. Now we have to go to a begrudgingly honor to that guy in the picture right there. He is Idris Elba. It is his birthday, along with some other great people today. Now, let me say this up front. My beautiful wife, Christina with a K, there's a running joke I've had since actually before we got married. But it really became a joke when I got married, because it's essentially when a beautiful woman who I admire, who does great things, comes on the birthday list or does something big. There's various people out there. Some of them are actual one-time crushes. I add them to my mythical future ex-wives list, which means if I'm ever finding myself without the current wife, that next person is on the list to be a wife and then to break up with as well. There is no intention of ever, in fact, if I'm ever not having a current wife, there will probably not actually be an actual future next wife. We've said that out loud. But for all the foibles I give Christina with a K, there are 2 people I'm worried about becoming a future ex-wife to, and that happens to be Hootie and Himdall. Hootie, of course, Darius Rucker, who actually has been through town, and she's actually had a chance to actually see in person, which should make me wonder. But if Idris Elba ever comes to town, I'm pretty sure our marriage is done. Happy birthday, Idris, 52 years old today. Also, birthday wishes to Elizabeth Vargas, who's getting a second or maybe third life, if you will, doing news on News Nation and doing a great job. Other than the fact that they swapped their time slot, so she's on earlier, so I really can't see her because I don't get home from work at that time. Elizabeth Vargas is doing great work. I saw her do a lot of work, late fill-in stuff for Dan Abrams when he was out, and some of the convention stuff. Amazing person. Worked through her demons, worked through her tragedy, and is on the right side of going in life, 62 years old in a day. I'm going to give her lots of love and flowers on that one. And Michael Winslow may not be doing very much, but he is the voice behind all 87 Police Academy movies, 66 years old on this September the 6th. I got my eyes on you, Himdall. I got my eyes on you, sir. Let's go to our history lesson for today. In 1991, the name St. Petersburg was restored to Russia's second largest city, which had been renamed Leningrad back in 1924. When the Communist Revolution, I guess I'm calling it that, that's probably not what it was called, came in, and Stalin and Lenin and all those guys came into play and they turned things around, they really wanted to rename, rehouse, change everything for the Soviet Union, because it was no longer Russia, Russia, Russia. It was a union of communist states that combined themselves like Voltron to want to be, in my mind and mind of many others, a menace to the world. And back in 1991, and well after Russia became Russia again, St. Petersburg became St. Petersburg again. So that meant changing all the street signs and all the work around that one. Back in 1995, Cal Ripken Jr. broke Lou Gehrig's record of 2,130 consecutive Major League Baseball games played at Camden Yards in Baltimore, Maryland. And in 2020, a strain of bacteria nicknamed Conan the Bark Bacterium, because we have humor around here, survived 3 years attached to the International Space Station in open space. The player of Conan and the man named Conan, both O'Brien and respectively Schwarzenegger, got kicks out of the name of the actual virus because it was kind of funny. The fact that, or bacteria, not bacteria and virus are two different things. The fact that a bacteria can live out in the vacuum of space for 3 years is a little scary. Cue the Venom symbiotes on their way to Earth. Maximum carnage is on its way. Let's go to our word for the day. The word for the day, a novel word. As the word is novel. It is of a new or unusual kind, different from anything seen or known before. Used in a sentence, and this actually comes well with today's celebration, a novel flavor of the ice cream, a mix of lavender and honey, was a delightful surprise to those accustomed to more traditional taste. Ice cream will come back to not haunt us, but go in our tummy, although some people are going to complain about the actual flavor. But novel, something that's a little different, something that's not quite what we're used to, something that you've never really seen before, is our word for today. Learn more big words at the Big Words Project. BigWordsProject.com is its website. That one actually works. And look for our books, which are Big Words You Ought to Know. Every quarter we put out a new version with 100 words in it, so you can study 100 words in 90 days or so. You check that out. Two volumes out so far. The goal is to get 1,200 words, 1,200 words in a 3-year span of time. We've got 5 of them ready to go. The next book coming out in a few months. So be prepared for this one. You can also buy another book that will hopefully get you feeling positive, feel you much, much better. And it's a book on daily affirmations that I wrote. I think it's been about 6 months, but you can go find it by going to 100 affirmations pain on your Google search, and it'll pop up there with 100 daily affirmations for positivity and confidence by me. And today's affirmation is, every day I grow stronger and more resilient. And this one fosters a positive mindset reinforcement. This affirmation encourages a positive outlook, reinforcing the belief that challenges contribute to personal strength and resilience, making you more optimistic and proactive in facing your life's challenges. If you're feeling issues with your optimism, you don't feel like you can hold on much longer, hey, one more day, you get a little bit stronger and more resilient to what's going on there. Just like that bacteria that's living out in space, ready to kill us. Because it's live. And today's celebration, and this is one that you don't have to deal with it, it is National Coffee Ice Cream Day. Not vanilla, not strawberry, not chocolate, not Rocky Road, not even Turtle Tracks. Coffee. On September the 6th, National Coffee Ice Cream Day permits us to indulge in a caffeinated dessert. Coffee lovers will delight in the opportunity, especially if they also enjoy ice cream. I don't know how you can't enjoy the both, but if you don't, we need to have you checked. The cool and creamy result of our morning Java in refreshing dessert magnifies the celebration. While not everyone drinks coffee, some like the flavor in the dessert. It's a common balance. So this day may interest even those who don't wake up in the morning to the smell of fresh brewed coffee. Maybe the smell of coffee mixed in cream and maybe some nuts, hazelnuts, and a little chocolate drizzle on top will make you feel better. It's Coffee Ice Cream Day. Sure, ice cream is good, but today is a day to get you some chocolate coffee ice cream. If Arby's still has Jamocha shakes, technically that counts. So that's the best way to get there. But stop by your Baskin Robbins, stop by your Cold Creamery. Maybe you have a grocery store that has a coffee flavor in the case back there. Get you some coffee ice cream and indulge and enjoy. Let's get out of the indulging and enjoying part. This has been Friday, the September 6th edition of 2024. That was just things you might ought to know. And before that, things you might not have heard. Celebrating our partners this week. No new partners, but a lot of new things coming in on the partnerships for YouTube. And as we figure that stuff out, we'll start hyping those folks up as well. But partners who are subscribers to our Buy Me a Coffee script include Harold Braxton, Kobe Green, and the pseudonym, that's my boy, Eldon Kidd. Also, spare change level for Joe Winter. Spare change is $1 a month. A cup of coffee is $5 a month. There's other tiers as well. No one's stepped up to those bigger tiers yet, but hopefully soon it may be you. If you deem what we're doing worthy of getting stuff done and want to help us get more stuff done, this might just seem like $16 a month, but $16 a month of love and support that I'm getting from these folks that helps pay a couple bills to get things going. So if you want more of what we have doing, or sometimes less of it, become a partner so you can actually help fund the effort and get, I'll say, a little more input, because partners do get kind of first dibs, but anyone who comments on the emails we talk to as well. In the meantime, follow us on Facebook, follow us on YouTube, follow us on X and Threads, follow us on TikTok, follow us on Instagram, follow us in wherever your podcatcher is, because we're in the podcast room as well. Follow us at our website, because it's really important to follow us at a newsletter. So if in case we lose contact with you for a while, we had issues with Facebook and with X that we didn't have anything going for. We didn't know it was going to be useful at all. Contact via our newsletter so you can get information from us. We do hit you out with a newsletter every day with the news, but we also do periodic updates to folks going on there. More updates goes to the partners, of course, as well. Make sure you follow us on Facebook, X, and Threads. I say that months of times. That's how we get the stories going forward. We'll have 10 stories for Monday. That is the truth. Also, email us at theconversationinbox@gmail.com. Make sure that you know this, that life is great, even when life isn't all that great. So make sure you understand that going forward, and know that even on a day where you may feel like you get no respect and no honor from anyone, you got it from me. I love you. Thank you so much. Thank you for all the love and support you've given to me in the past few years from this big project, past couple of years specifically, as we've been displaced in the past couple of months, as we've gotten our footing back in, and we're moving towards forward. Forwards, we're always moving. Thank you, folks. It's been a long week. I've got some nice planned time with the kid who may not enjoy, being with her dad, but we're going to go to a comic book convention, and she likes seeing people dressed up in weird costumes. So there you go. Also, Pokemon. Lots and lots of Pokemon. So that's happening. So sometime with the kid, which is well timed out. Pretty expensive as well. But take some time out with your family this week. We're rolling into this. September is always a rough month for me. It's my birthday month, and we'll talk more about those things going forward. But enjoy yourself. Enjoy your day. Enjoy your weekend. Enjoy your first full weekend of September. Hopefully you're getting some cool weather. Enjoy the NFL football. Football tonight in Brazil. Hey, enjoy yourselves. We're done. Thank you very much.